My husband had a way of stirring bourbon that made every room feel quieter. Even after 12 years together, I could recognize the sound from another floor of the house, the soft turning of ice against crystal, the pause before he drank. It was a sound stitched into our marriage alongside mortgage payments, folded laundry, Sunday grocery lists, and winter evenings spent under the same blanket saying very little. His name was Lucien. He was kind in the durable way American men sometimes are, steady, practical, never dramatic. He fixed loose cabinet hinges before they became problems. He warmed up my car during snowstorms. He remembered the exact amount of cream I liked in my coffee. And somewhere along the years, without either of us noticing, our love became careful instead of alive. Not dead. Never dead. Just careful. I met Soren in Chicago during a marketing conference I almost didn't attend. Outside, February snow drifted sideways between buildings. Inside the hotel bar, everything glowed amber and gold. He sat 2 stools away from me reading a paperback with his sleeves rolled to his forearms, as if he belonged to another decade entirely. We spoke because he noticed my wedding ring before he noticed my face. "Happy marriage?" he asked lightly. I should have said yes immediately. Instead, I looked down at my drink. That depends on the day. It began there, not with desire, but recognition. The terrifying relief of being seen by someone new. Over the next 2 nights, we talked about ordinary things. Old songs, bad fathers, the strange loneliness of airports. Nothing happened. Not really. But I remember how conscious I became of my own hands around him, how every accidental brush felt illuminated from within. The final evening, snow had sealed the city into silence. We walked back from a restaurant through streets washed silver by streetlights. At the hotel elevator, he touched my wrist. Only that. Nothing more. But my body betrayed me with the sudden warmth of it. I stood very still while the doors opened behind me. "Good night, Elena," he said softly. I could have let the doors close. Instead, I stepped out again. What I remember most is not the physicality of it, but the hesitation. The unbearable tenderness of hesitation. How carefully he touched me, as if he were handling something already cracked. There are moments that divide a life neatly in two. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just a quiet crossing from one version of yourself into another. Mine happened beneath dim hotel lamps while snow moved against the windows like ash. Afterward, neither of us spoke for a long time. I lay beside him listening to the radiator hiss softly in the dark, and guilt arrived not as panic, but as grief. Because I had loved my husband before this. I still loved him now. That was the worst part. I thought betrayal would feel sharp and obvious, something cinematic and ugly. Instead, it felt sorrowful. Human. Like discovering a hidden room inside yourself you wished had never existed. Soren eventually reached for my hand under the blankets. I let him hold it, and hated myself a little for not pulling away. When I returned to Connecticut, Lucien met me at the airport wearing the same charcoal coat he'd owned for years. "You look tired," he said gently, taking my suitcase. In the car, he reached across the console and squeezed my knee while he drove. Such a small gesture. I nearly broke apart from it. For weeks afterward, I lived divided between 2 selves. One folded laundry beside her husband and laughed at familiar jokes across the dinner table. The other still remembered the warm hotel light, the snowfall, the feeling of being wanted in a way that reopened something sleeping inside her. Soren called only once. "I miss you," he admitted. I sat on the kitchen floor after midnight while the dishwasher hummed quietly nearby. "I know," I whispered. Upstairs, Lucien slept with one arm stretched across my side of the bed, searching for me even in dreams. and for the first time in my life, I truly did not know where I belonged.